Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to review the Lobster Sender for 2020. This board is available in 5 sizes, 151, 154, 157, 159 wide, 162 wide. This board features traditional camber with a freestyle 3BT and sidekick technology. So you just have that load and snap of traditional camber coupled with elevated contact points to make it a little bit looser at the tips and funnel snow easier underneath. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin a couple days after a storm. It was sunny blue skies, little bit of wind, not much, colder temps, the snow was a bit punchy, off the groomed runs, the groomers were perfect. You know, it was just one of those days where you could go out and send it, and this was the sender. So I used my K2 Indy bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Lobster claims this board is stiffer. It's not. It feels like a middle of the road flex. You know, it is slightly directional, but you got flex in the tip and the tail that's equal, it's playful, there's a nice little sweet spot, stiffens up through the middle. Just, you know, what you'd kind of expect from a board like this with a lot of torsional flex. Now this board is not stable. It gets bucked around in rutted out terrain and you have to fight it to keep underneath you. You will feel every vibration. This board will fatigue you after the day. Your legs are going to be tired. I will say this board has a lot of snap to it. I mean, you load that camber up and there's a ton of rebound and pop. This board just wants to boost you to the moon. It's one of those decks. It was great on the jumps that I was able to hit with it. It was great on side hits, cat track gaps, just rollers, natural features. This board just wants to pop. You just have to load that traditional camber up. If you are popping off your edge, especially really aggressively off the tail, you might notice that it initiates a little bit different with that freestyle 3BT. How's this thing butter? Well, you got that scooped out nose, and that really does help this board when you're really trying to press into it on the snow. That softer flex creates a nice immense sweet spot so you can really get your weight out over it. This board is actually really easy to press and jib with as well. It's one of those boards that when I was hitting features, it didn't fight me, it didn't take a lot of effort, it felt like I'd been riding this thing a bunch. So if you're really one of those guys that wants 3BT and you want a board you can jib on but ride the whole mountain, here you go, Lobster Sender. The big thing with carving with this board is you can overpower it and cause that tail to wash out. There's just so much flex torsionally that when you drive into it, you can just demand more than this board can give you. It's really weird considering how much pop and snap it has that it does this, but what I will say is tight, mellow turns, solid. Long, drawn out, hard, aggressive carves, you gotta pick and choose your battles. Do you really wanna be crazy aggressive with it, or do you wanna be a little pulled back so that you're not overpowering the board? That's kind of how this thing is. I will say that the freestyle 3BT feels a little bit looser, and you will notice from time to time that it skids a turn rather than stays locked in on a carve. So who is this board for? Definitely a Lobster fanboy that wants to send it. I mean, you can send it with it. Would I send it with it all the time? No, but it is a solid all-mountain freestyle board with 3BT. It's not the best thing that I've ridden, it's not the worst thing that I've ridden. This board does have immense pop, which is probably the best thing I can say about it, but when you're turning with it, it just feels loose. It feels like you're losing some of your control. It's one of those boards that you have to pick and choose your battles and how you're going to engage with it. You have to take a few laps to figure out where you can steer it, how you can steer it, what you can and can't do. It's not one of those boards you can just get on and send it. Unless you're a Lobster fanboy, then you can send it. Comparable boards, the Rosnell Jib Saw, the Rome Buckshot, the Capita Outsiders. This has been my review of the Lobster Sender. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below and let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of this content that we're putting out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you'd really like to support us and you want to see us grow out our snowboarding news network that we're working on, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and check out the video there that breaks down what we're trying to do. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.